I'm mainly Jayoko on Instagram. That's like my alter ego. But I use that name for like when I'm like super into like my wave. So like in fashion, or I do like digital like editing for like fashion videos. So I use that as my alter ego, and then when I'm in my zone. And well, basically, how I got into fashion is I actually kind of grew up around it. My mom owned a boutique store, and I'm in I'm in San Francisco right now. So my mom owned a boutique store in San Francisco ever since I've been growing up until now. So that kind of got me into like what am I kind of like thinking to do when I'm growing up, or what it kind of gave me a pathway, knowing that it wasn't like exactly what I wanted to do. I never wanted to own a store, but I knew I wanted to be into fashion. So that kind of got me onto the track of being a stylist. I never wanted to do. I mean, I did retail jobs on the side growing up, but I used to work in my mom's store as well. So I got into like I used to love just how like women just used to. Well, I still do. I still like how women get up, get dressed, pick out certain things. Um, they put things together that you normally don't see typically in what men do. So, and I grew up with five brothers, which is crazy insane, and I'm the only one in fashion. So, but just growing up around my mother, just seeing her like do her thing, and like working with some of her clients and just in her store, and just got me kind of just used to like being around fashion and colors and prints and just different styles of people's, just the styles of what other people have. And so it kind of came up all together. And like, I just was, I honestly didn't really know that I was going to be a stylist until I
Mhm.
moved to Los Angeles.
Oh
And
wow.
that's when, because in more Northern California, it's more like boutiques and stuff
Mhm.
and more wholesale. So, but when I moved to Los Angeles, that's more of the production and the movies and the fashion, the magazines and
Definitely.
commercials and everything. So when I got to Los Angeles, I had no clue what I was going to do at all. I didn't know where to start. I didn't go to school for fashion. I had no clue. So when I went to Los Angeles, I just knew that I was going to be in fashion, period. So when you're in fashion, you kind of have to have that. I mean, you don't have to, but it would be the best thing to do if you kind of have that in your on the side of your mind. You kind of want to get into it, but you have no idea. Um, because it makes it so much better, because people say, "Oh, I want to be a stylist," and then they stop being a stylist and become a fashion designer, and then they become a fashion designer and stop and become a seamstress. Who like just different things. So um, when I moved to Los Angeles, I actually got my start in a showroom, and I had no idea what that was. I had no experience. I kind of knew what a showroom was in a sense, but I
Yeah.
didn't know the extent of
Mhm. What
what
they
they go
do.
through. Yeah,
Yeah.
what they do. So I actually went online. I hit up everybody in Los Angeles. I mean, everybody. I still have emails from like 6 years ago saying, "Hey, I don't know what yada yada, what to do, where do I go, where do I start?" So that was pretty much how I got into it, just hitting everybody up in the industry. I know that's typical and that sounds like I'm not about to do that, but it literally works. Like somebody
Mhm.
will
Did
like
you just did you find people like others like how would you search up like would you just search up like showrooms around or like how did you do like that for you to like contact them because I know for others
yeah,
like it's kind of like difficult to find their information because you have to know about that they exist because
absolutely.
when you search them up it won't show so
Right.
how do
Yeah,
you
absolutely. Yeah, a lot of that is self-research. A lot of that is based on what you like, or what who you want to be around, or who do you want to study from, or who do you who kind of guys who has the same kind of interest as you. And I'm not saying more of like, oh, we have to have the same style or aesthetic, but I'm just saying more of the same
like mindset with the keen of
mindset.
like. Mhm.
Absolutely. You know, like, oh, for me, I love Emma Roberts. And so I was just checking up Emma Roberts, looked at her stylist, looked at her assistant. So just did my research on these people. And it's kind of like a stalker kind of thing. But
Go
it's
stalker
really,
mode.
you know, it's really just research, personal research for
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah.
And when you do things like that, it also helps you with, especially in fashion, because you're going to do that regardless. You're going to hit up people that you have no idea. It could be thousands of miles away and you have no idea who they are. You never met them before, but you want to hit them up. They may be in France or they may be in London or you know, but you want to work with them. So you'll have to kind of build up the courage and be like, hey, you know, you may not know who I am, but so and so, I'd love to work with you, so on and so forth. But as into
Mhm.
getting into fashion, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little
Yeah.
off track. But
Yeah.
getting
No worries.
into fashion, you want to do the same thing. You kind of want to do a bunch of research on the people or the person that you want to get affiliated with, and then
Mhm.
send them email. They might not get back to you right away, but they will get back to you um, ASAP or they will get back to you later. Because I remember I was waiting for an intern for about for like 6 months and they called me out of nowhere. Um, but that's just a little of just like getting into it. But the best thing to do is to do research. Look up the person's name, look at their Instagram, if they got TikToks, if they have YouTubes, if they have any type of like website, that would be the best thing. Just to you could the best thing to do is email them. I wouldn't like call them or anything, but best thing is to email them and just to see like if they're looking for like people that's like interns or just assistants or anything. Because usually 99% of the time they are, because a lot of people cap a lot. So they'd be like, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there. And then they don't. So like this stylist or this fashion designer has no assistant or no stylist helping for that day. So they may need someone ASAP. So the best thing to do is like do your Google research, your Instagram research, just kind of like stalk them a little bit, you know, nothing crazy, but just do a little, you know, your research on just who they are, where they come from, and their styles, and who they work with, especially on who they work with, because they may not be the people that you want to work with. They may
Mhm.
be all television newscast people. You styling, but if you don't want to get into that, you know, you might want to hit up a certain person that's in film, like what is it? That does commercials for like Target and they usually have a lot of that information on their websites. They have their client list on their website, so you can see on who they work with, Bloomingdale's, Target, so and so, a lot of the big brands. So if you're really interested in that and you want to get into like either commercial or like either like fashion, like runway fashion, just hit up those certain designers and just hit up these certain stylists that actually kind of line up with your mindset, and most definitely go out and just fish out for them and see what bites back.
Yeah, definitely. So like pretty much like do like thorough research as many as people like who do like what we would want to work with. Of course we can't just not know what they do, but at least have a sense of that, and then that goes with our mindset. And at the end of the day, like thorough research, nothing like okay, hi sir, I like your art and that's it. Call it a day.
Right? Yeah.
Like it's more like why do you want to work with the stylist?
Yeah.
What's so
Absolutely.
special? Everything. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And a lot of it, when people go into fashion, they think childhood. Like when I was growing up, I was like, I always want to work with this person. Always want to work with this person. And then when I grew up, it's like I'm not into like his work anymore. So you go
Mm-hmm.
to somewhere else, and you're totally, you know, you're in a different realm now. So yeah, most definitely match up like your personalities with these stylists and like or designers or just anybody that's work in fashion. Just try to match up your personalities, because sometimes when you it's kind of like dating, you know, it's like you guys not might be compatible at all.
Compatible.
Like you guys might somebody might work super harder than the other, and you know what you supposed to work hard together. So um a lot of that come in play, especially in fashion, and it's a very high speed, high paced industry. So you would want somebody to learn off from and like keep your aesthetic growing and your work ethics at top tier, because 99% of the time, sometimes little mess ups are the biggest. So you don't want to work with somebody that would just go
Mhm.
ballistic on you, you know, and that would mess up your whole your whole experience in fashion. I mean, you may get some that will go crazy. Don't get me wrong, but um, you will get some that will actually is very like very promising and very, you know, very honest and truth, and you know that would just take their time to work with you because they know you're assisting and they know you're new and they know you're an intern. So
Yeah,
so a
definitely.
lot of the time, look for it. I would say for me to say, I would say to be very picky with yourself. Don't go out there and like be like, "Oh, I could get into anything, or just let me just
Yeah,
get into anything," because sometimes you could get stuck into that and you be like, this is totally what I was not thinking of my fashion like
like
adventure
perspective.
would be, you know. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So make sure, and sometimes it's a good thing and sometimes a bad thing, because being in Los Angeles you can fall into something that you may not want to be in, but maybe a few months or years later they will probably connect you, or you'll probably get connected to what you want to be, as long as you keep, you know, your eye on the prize of being either a fashion designer or a stylist or a trend forecaster or anything in fashion related. It'd be best to try to like zoom in on something that you're really interested in, or that you like doing, because it could be a very pain and you will be stuck with something that
Don't
you
like.
don't want. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, it's a very challenging road to go, but it's very promising. Honestly, it's very fun. I've been doing I've worked with Vivian Westwood. I've worked trade shows. I've worked in runway shows. They sent me across country. They sent me to a lot of places just to do great, like just to take great pictures or take great photos. And these are like one in a lifetime moments that usually no one could experience. And growing up, I didn't really travel too much. So I mean, I traveled more of the United States and like California a lot, but more after I got into fashion, like that just broadened my like horizons of traveling. And and traveling is a huge part of fashion, and people may not believe it, but or you know might not say so, but traveling is a huge part of fashion, because that's where we get our style, that's where we get our trends, that's where we get
Definitely.
um just everything from just every walks of every walks of life. Every culture we see something that we like, or we see something that's interests us. So traveling, if you guys aren't tuned into traveling, but traveling will like expand your like fashion like mind completely, and it would change a lot of your like perspective on a lot of things and a lot of trends. And it's so funny because I wasn't so interested in Crocs, the shoe, and now I'm like so into them. Like they're so fashion to me after I seen like after I left and see how stylish they can like be, even though in
Yeah.
even here in California they're getting very stylish, but I didn't see them in California first being stylish. I seen them more traveling out, and people are like wearing different outfits with just Croc shoes, and some those Croc shoes can be so ugly sometimes. So um but no, but if you style them right, if you go out and adventure and see what other people are wearing with just even like Jordans or Adidas or just different type of um shoe type or just anything, you can see how people just can put things together, and then that will translate in your mind like, oh, I can totally see how that works, or I can totally see I can do that myself. So and a lot of our trends come from like the internet and like TV shows and
From what other
movies
people
and
wear.
yeah and stuff like that. And that's where a lot of the directors get it from. They travel, and that's why you see a lot of places, you know, a lot of movies taking place in a lot of these foreign countries. And because there's so much to see, and it's just so much to like grasp in. And traveling will be is very
Essential.
worth it. It's very worth
Hmm.
it. Yeah. And it's a huge it's a huge honor, especially because you're experiencing someone else's culture, or you're experiencing someone else's kind of footsteps in a way. So traveling, I would say, most, if you have the chance to do it, travel your heart out, because that's like fashion secret, is traveling, because you can't
Mm-hmm.
really see, if you really want to be in fashion. But I live in Kentucky, you're not going to see anything besides people on the
Yeah.
streets that wear
Mm-hmm.
stuff like you, or you're going to see, the world of fashion on the internet. You're not going to see nothing else besides that. But um, traveling is a great way to even start into fashion, because you get to see what cultures are putting what together with their outfits, and you can come back and translate that to America, and totally do a whole like inspiration like piece, and like show off, just show off what you've seen, so
Of course, like you just
um
grasping, like you're grasping what you have seen so far, and then just putting those ideas in together, like for everyone to say, like, oh wow, like how did that person like get that inspires,
absolutely.
because like from where
Hmm.
they've seen, where they've traveled, so that makes sense, like what you're saying.
And it's a great experience as well. And once you get into fashion, you will be doing a lot of that. So if you're not into traveling, or if you don't even have a passport, you should totally get one, and like just go. Maybe just go to the next country over, or maybe not right now, but just when we have time, or when you guys have time, just take a little quick solo trip. If you guys are not bold doing that, I mean, take someone, just
Just do it.
take someone and just do it, because there's so much to see. And that's why this it's the fashion industry in New York is like, I think it's kind of a little
Dominate.
superior than Los Angeles, is because there's people from all over. Even though there's people from all over California, I mean in Los Angeles, but in New York it's a little bit more grimier, and people don't really care on how do I supposed to look. It's just more of my self-expression. So that's just my opinion about New York, which I love New York. But yeah, so traveling is a really good part of fashion, and you will be doing a lot of it in fashion. It don't matter what kind of fashion, you will do some type of traveling for sure. I mean, unless you
Yeah.
digital, but digital, they still go out and travel the world and take pictures in fashion. So you will be traveling for sure. So make sure you guys have your backpacks 24/7, and it's a really good experience. And fashion will take you everywhere. And even if you don't want to be in fashion forever, fashion can, you don't have to be a stylist or designer, or just typical fashion. You can do wholesale, you can do resale, you can do all that stuff. There's so much things you could do in the fashion. And um, there's so much stemming out of fashion, like music, and like concerts, and just there's so much stuff stemming out of fashion. So if fashion isn't your first, um, it should be your second. but but yeah, fashion will take you to a lot more places than fashion, just clothes. So you will have so much on your hands, because just being a stylist is just not being a stylist. Sometimes you're comforting the person that doesn't feel right with her shoulders out, or the guy that doesn't look right with without a hat, or without shorts on. So you're gonna have to deal with that, and just kind of like not bribe them, but kind of like get them comfortable, and like get them in a space where they feel good about themselves. So that all
Definitely.
comes in part of fashion as well. So um, there's a lot to think about, especially once you get into fashion, because there's so many doors that could be open in fashion. I thought like I was just going to be a stylist. I turned into I was a stylist, then I turned into like video editing for like fashion, and then I turned into just a bunch of other stuff. So if you have more, that's the thing about fashion, you're more creative, and it's a creative pathway. So you can actually create another pathway for yourself. So and it's a really fun
So
experience.
there's like more opportunities in the fashion industry. Like you don't have to stay into one if you don't feel like the best self in that part. But you could jump to another one. What makes you
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, so you could still stay creative, because the fashion industry it's by just staying creative.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Just like an artist, I feel like an artist can be a designer or a stylist, or they may not have the right technique, but I'm sure if you teach them correctly in the right way, I'm sure they'll have some creative outlet. I mean, some creative way to make that outfit look totally different from the norm or the average. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like fashion is a very great outlet to like, or just a very good career to even start in, because it helps you a lot to concentrate, focus, and or keep you organized and keep you prepared. It keeps you on your toes all the time, and it gives you inspiration. It gives you time to like think. It gives you time to create. It gives you so much. And people think just fashion is just very vain, or I'm just looking at myself, or just makeup, or just how do I supposed to look, or how do I want to look. It's more
Mm-hmm.
your it's just more your how do you want to present yourself. Don't
Definitely.
like very unapologetically a lot of the time, especially if you're like really into like fashion. You really don't care what no one says. And I'm trying to get to that point where it's like I can wear this and feel like totally comfortable with, and which I'm starting to, because when you work in fashion, you just get, some people say you get cocky. No, you just get more confident. You know what I mean? You just start to see
Definitely,
things,
yes.
you should start to
Mm-hmm.
see things the average don't see. And you're just like, your
You
mind
gotta go
start to,
bold.
absolutely, you got to go bold, because being easy is easy. It's like
Mm-hmm.
anybody can do that. So sometimes I go to the grocery store just wearing like the most craziest stuff sometimes. So
They're
um
like, "What are you wearing?" But at the end of the day,
yeah,
it's like you're the talk of the people because you gave them a good impression. They're like, "Oh
fashion,
wow, like
yeah,
I wish I could have
absolutely.
dressed that way." Like have
Yeah,
that
or
confidence.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And fashion, and that's also fashion. It could be a huge conversation piece, and you could talk about it for hours, and just about a simple garment you could talk about for hours. And I've seen it done before. I've been to a lot of trade shows where it's just they talk about a certain type of piece, and it gets super trendy, and people like, oh, I love this certain shoe, or I love this certain thing, and you just
Mm-hmm.
hear about why do you like it, or and they give you their opinion about it. So, and that's very it's very and fashion is very connecting like that, because you can give your opinion. Sometimes people may not like it, but I mean, that's fashion. It's creation. Everybody
Yeah,
has their
it's all
opinion
into
on
like it's
creating
like
and everything.
yeah, it's like all your preference.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all your pressure. And that's what I like about it, because I really don't like being told what to do or what to wear, and like um anything like that. So it's like I like to show you how I feel the way I dress. And if or just I like to show you how I can put things together, just not just any old type of way, just like a t-shirt and jeans. That's easy, which is comfortable, and I wear that all the time. But especially if you go out, because I usually go to like festivals and different things when that time was around. But now it's a little dead. So I usually take public transportation to like I play public transportation um, because it gives me a lot of inspiration. Because I live in downtown Los Angeles, I have a car as well, but I take a lot of public transportation to see what trends are out there, because the trend forecasters are on the streets. They're not. A lot of them are on the internet, yeah, but those are the basic ones. But the real ones, the real trendsetters, or the real trend forecasters, they're people watchers. They watch everything about that person, from the shoe, the how he walks, how they look, how the hair. That's how a lot of runway runway stylists and models and or designers. That's how they pick their models, is to what they see on the street, how people walk, their mannerisms. So and that's what they see. That's what they want to see in their shows. So they'll go out and do castings on um, how they want their shows, and it's very interesting working in runway, and because there's so much a part into runway as well, and style and being stylist and being a runway stylist, they're two completely different things. And being a lot of the styling categories are completely different, because there's like runway, then there's personal styling, then there's on set, and like you're doing what is it, costume designing, but that's more of like costume, but they still have movie stylists to come in and style the show or the movie. So there's different parts. And if you work with say you work with when I got into fashion, I worked with what is it? She worked for Shameless. It's a show on
Showtime, right?
Netflix. Netflix or Showtime? Yeah, it's one of those
Showtime.
shows. I think it was shows. It was on Showtime, but it's on like Netflix or Hulu. You can watch it now. And that got me into like doing TV shows, and that's a whole. The costume designing is completely different from just regular styling because you have to create. Now you're creating something that was never created before, but now you have to create something. You have to create a fictional character that is real. So when you do like costume designing or costume styling, you kind of have to like you will have to read the scripts and the episodes because they may say, oh, so and so threw a red scarf, and say if you didn't have a red scarf, it's going to be like, I didn't read the script, or you didn't, so in a runway stylist, they don't have to read scripts, they just kind of like work with the designer on like putting things together, matching things up and getting things right for the model. But for working on TVs and show sets or commercials and movies, you're making up a fictional character, unless it's based on a true story. But usually majority of the time you're working with a fictional character. So you're kind of building a character. So, and which is really fun because you're kind of building, if you're you're kind of building someone that you've never you have never seen before or you've never talked to. So your mind is your mind is just kind of like in a in a in a form of a creation where I'm sorry, it's hard to explain that, but your mind is kind of in in a how can I say that? Your mind is kind of in such a creative mode where there's stuff you just piece off from, and then you just be like, I would have thought of that 2 months ago, but your mind is working so hard because you're creating something instead of a stylist doing a photo shoot. We already get a mood board, you know what I mean? So we already have an idea like, oh, okay, he's wearing a blue jean, a whole outfit, I could do blue jean this, blue jean that, I could do suits this, suits that. But when you're working in more of film or commercials, in commercials they do mood boards. Film, they do mood boards, but more so extremely before on having an idea of who they're creating or who they want to create. So, and usually the stylist or the fashion or the costume designer are usually there on that part too. So you guys are all like working with like the whole like film, the film, the people that's on the film, building that character, but you're mostly building the guys or the women's outfit. So whatever they see on TV or whatever they see on the big screen, um, that's what's going to project. So there's different, like I said, there's different like sections in styling from like costumes and from like commercials. So and like super high fashion, luxury, and resort. It's just a whole bunch of it's a big pile of styling jobs that you can apply for, but you have to make sure that something fits you because you may not want to be on set every single day for 3 months for a movie or six months for a movie. Maybe you like to style for a Vogue magazine for 2 days and you want to get paid and start over to a next job. And some commercials are like that too. And you work on them for a while, maybe for a day or two, maybe 3 days, depending on the variant time of the commercial. You can spend a couple of days on a commercial, but you can spend a couple of days on anything actually. But usually majority of the fast, if you want to get in and get out, is more like magazines and doing like photo shoots with just like celebrities. And they may take a longer time with celebrities because they're very picky working with celebrities. And and that's a whole nother thing as well. And working with celebrities and influencers, they're very picky. They will totally, you could totally go out and pick a whole new wardrobe and they'll say no to it because they don't like it, and they have the rights too. And then so you're just like, oh, you're kind of like in up into like, what do I do now? So, and that's the other thing too, is there's a lot of there's a lot of thinking and what is it mind what is it how can I say it, there's a lot of um
Like nitty gritty
there's,
type of type of way.
yeah, yeah, there's a lot of nitty gritty type of hustle in fashion. Like I said, like how the style, the celebrity or influencer can be like, I don't like none of this, you know, and now you have to like rethink the whole shoot or just the whole the idea and just go back out and hustle again and start over, unless they fired you and they don't want you and they want somebody else. And that can be a true story as well. So um um yeah, a lot of that comes, it comes with a lot of work. But if you just actually pinpoint on what do you want to do research on like how these stylists work, and like how people in Vogue work compared to people that worked on um Devil Wears Prada, that would be the best help, because working on movies, it's not always about money. You know, sometimes you have to hustle that up and do it. You know, try to go to these flea markets or Goodwills or this, you know, these reselling stores that resells things and try to get it for a budget, because sometimes you think these high production companies will give you the money, and they won't at all. Sometimes they treat stylists very, you know, they treat us like at the bottom. But if you really think about it, your whole show would be naked if it wasn't for us. You know what I mean? So your whole show would be trash if it wasn't for the person that communicated what so and so did, you know, or what the outfit did for I don't know if you guys watch The Big Bang Theory, and you know, they all kind of
Yeah.
dress very like, you know,
Mhm.
nerdy, geeky kind of way. If I
Mhm.
dressed them like how I wanted to dress them, it wouldn't,
Wouldn't
you
be
know, it wouldn't be like it wouldn't
what we
compute to
see now.
everybody. Yeah, exactly. So you have to kind of have that certain aesthetic, and you know, and I know your aesthetic will grow as you keep going, and like as you know, just keep riding that wave, and it will just totally just grow, um and you would just get so much better at what you're doing. And once you get on one set, you're going to get onto another set, and you will get onto another set, and you will get onto something else, because there's so many people in fashion looking and searching for someone or for something or for, you know, anything. They may just want somebody that's worked into fashion, that just wants them just to help, period. You know, just I'm a designer, or say I'm a designer, I may want to work with like a stylist, just to get just to see what's trending, or what can I put trendy
Collection.
in my collection, or you know, or anything. So you will be working a lot with different things and with everybody, and you will meet a lot of people, because networking in fashion is constant all the time. And if it's not in person, it's either on Instagram, or somebody's hitting you up over, you know, email saying they like your stuff, or just anything. So fashion will most definitely, fashion styling and just fashion, it can open so many doors, and it's really unbelievable, because some of the things that I thought that I wasn't going to do or wouldn't be able to do is like I absolutely surpassed that times 10. So and you could totally, don't let no one tell you that you can't make a career in fashion, because that's totally impossible, because you can, especially if you live in Los Angeles and you guys
Yeah.
are in school. So um there's outlets to every way, and I wouldn't, and if you really wanted to get into fashion and you have no idea to get into fashion or how to start, I would start by just going something that you're not just familiar with. I started as an intern at a showroom, like I said earlier, and I had no idea what this place was, you know. So, but now I know how to write up wholesale. I don't know how to write up. I know how to do write-ups for like companies that need you know, clothes from wholesalers, or I now know how to merchandise small stuff like that to big stuff like that. You know, you will totally, you will know, and you will figure out. And I had no idea. I knew a little bit about merchandising, but just the small things in fashion that we don't really, a lot of people a
Mhm.
lot of people don't recognize. And
I have a
um
question.
mhm.
Do you recommend like for everyone like who really like to get that experience to like mandatory wise, if I want to say like to intern for a showroom? Like, what's your opinion? Like, do you consider like that should be something we all should intern for just to get the experience, or not really if we're not looking for something?
um I would say working for like a showroom would be a good start in fashion, because it can pick up from there. But if you want
Mm,
to rush right into the traffic of fashion, which you will if you work with like a main stylist, or somebody that you really liked and they picked you up, you will be rushed right into it. And some of them some of them some of them don't care that you are an intern. They just want you to be there and know things.
yeah.
And being an intern, you don't know things. But what some stylists, they think that you intern before. That'd be a good thing to vocalize too, that you never intern. If you want to jump right into it, make sure, if you want to jump right into it, make sure you vocalize that, this is my first time. I really don't know.
Mm.
Um,
So they don't push
because
you
this
to the
is your first
pool
time.
like not knowing
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah, they don't want to. You don't throw a cell phone at you in the middle of like a shoot because you messed up. So you actually, it would be best to start somewhere little. I started at a showroom, then I moved to Vivian Westwood. I worked with them for a while, and then I worked with Saint Laurent for a while, and then I kind of started doing my own fashion thing. I actually started assisting a bunch of stylists while I was working at like Saint Laurent, because they would come in there and pull like clothes for
Mhm.
their celebrities or just their clients or whatever. So I'll be around them a lot. And that's the thing also about working in a showroom, that you will be around these stylists all the time. They come in and pick up clothes for their clients, and then you will get a gist on who they're styling. You may want to be affiliated with the celebrity, but you have no way. Some of them, some stylists, some stylists may be that a middleman of you and that person that you want to connect with. So if you say you want to work with J Lo, and then J Lo stylists come into the showroom, you have that perfect opportunity to express on how you
Mhm.
feel, what you want to do, how you want to do it. And who knows, they might be like, hey, I'm looking for somebody this day. Can you come in and help? And from there, it's like the doors will start to come open, because once you get on set with them, you'll start talking to, say, J Lo's assistant, or J Lo's um, cameraman, videographer, or somebody. You will
Someone behind the
connect with
scenes.
somebody. Exactly. Behind the scenes is so much more than behind the scenes. It's a networking system that you just won't come across on a regular day. Like, we go to like a lot of meet and greet meetings, or like a lot of what is it? Yeah, like a lot of networking
Like events in a
like
way.
events, yeah. But when you go into on set, you're more in a private setting. Some people might be when you're in the networking event, some people might be a little bit more afraid to express who they talk to, that kind of thing, that social kind of like um thing, um that social kind of circle.
Interact.
But when you're more into you're on set, there's only about maybe 10 people on set, maybe less. It could be like four, it can be three people on set. And then you guys are just talking while people are shooting, or you're taking a break, you guys are talking, you're talking to a director that's, you may be talking to a model that's from so and so, and they may need a stylist that they don't have at home. Or they'd be like, hey, we need to change numbers, or we need to get your contact so we can like meet up. And you can, if you're a stylist or anything, for me, like, they'd be like, oh, I need a stylist for so and so day, and they'd be like, are you available? So there's a
Mhm.
lot of opportunity on set as well. So if you get on set and you want to jump in right into it, that would be the best place.
Mhm.
I didn't really jump right into it, but I did a couple months in the showroom. 6 months will be good for like an intern to start with, because you can kind of just see like how things working out. And I feel like 6 months will get you a good grasp on like what you want to do, how you want to figure things out and things like that. So
Mhm. So you started like with showroom and like assisting for stylists, and then just hearing you clear, like you became your own stylist, if I want to say, because there's like work of yours, no, like that
Yeah,
you done your own, and then to
yeah,
now,
absolutely.
and then till now, like what currently are you doing now that so far that you want to like give us sneak peek for?
Right now, I'm still working as a stylist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually working at a magazine, Obvious Magazine. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with them a lot, and I'm doing a lot of well, we're gonna start doing a lot of their videos and their fashion, like fashion videos. I'm sorry. We're gonna be doing a lot of their fashion videos and just doing a bunch of content for them in their magazine and so much with that. And I was working with there's a small brand I was working with, the styling last week, and I'm just still working as a stylist. It's really good that I had clients in the past because it might be a little harder now with things going on, but
Yeah.
you can still get in there. Like you can go on like your favorite designer or your favorite stylist and go to their website and see if they're still working, you know, and then hit them up and hop in on them. And it may take a little longer because the situation we're in now, but the best thing to do is just to hit them up and just see if anybody will catch anything.
Mhm. That's really
So
good. Like so far, so working with obvious, right? Magazine or
yeah. Mhm.
so when any tips on that, like how did you started with them? Like saying like you were talking about like you just like made research, like again what you reiterated like
Yeah.
earlier, like by doing good research about them or how
Mhm.
so?
Actually, you know what's funny? They did a shoot that I seen. They did with a um, they did with not a designer, a celebrity that I really liked. And I kind of always kind of had an interest on like I followed them on Instagram and like they'll post a little bit, like a little bit. But how I got that job is working actually at the showroom, you know. So like I got a job working at that. I got a job from working from that show. I was interning, and now I got a real job. So it turned into a real like money paying job now. So um, being like totally being in the just in a small environment can grow extremely big and extremely fast. It just depends on like your work ethic, on how much you want it, or how much you, or just how much you want to, you know,
Like being
I don't
determined,
know.
like
Yeah,
a lot of determination and effort.
the,
So for you to like
absolutely determination for sure.
mhm,
Determination for sure, because you will get a lot of bumps in the road.
definitely. Someone asked, what has been your biggest challenge in your career and how did you overcome it?
My biggest challenge in my career, I think my biggest challenge in my career was just getting used to everybody and how things work. Especially the biggest challenge for me, I think it was trying to find showrooms and getting connections with showrooms and trying to get clothes to pull. And that was the really hard. That's the hardest part in styling, hands down. I don't. Everything else is so much easier. Working with the client is, you know, it can be a little bit hard depending on your client, you know, your client,
With the
but
clothes.
getting what the client needs is a little tedious, and that part is very hard. But how I overcame it was connecting with everybody, just talking to everybody. And you may you may you may talk to someone that owns a showroom, you know, and that are looking for stylists that want to like put their stuff out. Or you might meet designers that have a showroom but they don't have any stylists coming to them yet. A lot of networking with just everybody in this business is very important. It's because you may meet somebody, you know how they say the saying, it you it is not to take someone you know someone. It's somebody is, I don't know the right saying, but it's
Mhm.
somebody knows somebody. You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
there's,
yeah, I kind of know the
you
saying.
know,
I don't
like
know either the right way, but I know what you mean.
yeah,
Like,
I can't think of the saying right now off the top of my
mhm,
head, but someone always knows someone. You know what I
mhm,
mean? So you may come across somebody that's doing like, you may come across a photographer
mhm,
in they know a bunch of models, and you have no clue to get models. I mean, you may know to go to an agency to go get models and apply to get them, but some of these photographers you may bump into at a shoot or just at an event, and they may know the top tier models of our time. So
Yeah.
you just may never know, because a lot of the photographers work hand in hand with these models and with the models and stylists. So they network too. So a lot of networking will just start falling into the bucket, and then you could just reach your hand out and pick out, oh, I want to, I need a stylist, or I may need a model today, and then you hit up the photographer and be like, hey, I need a model, so and so, can you help me out? And usually in fashion, it's all about helping. It's nothing about, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing no. It's a lot of it is about helping each other and growing. So if you find that right, person, stick with them, because you guys can grow so much together, and you kind of will build your own team in a way. And it's very
Yeah, like I've heard I call it like startup, like stylists. I hear that where they have their crew, like where they will create their own shoots. Like there's the makeup artist,
absolutely,
the hairstylist, and like anyone that
absolutely,
could contribute to that shoot for a whole one. Like at the end of the day, like they're helping each other to connect with other. You never know,
absolutely.
you'll know who, and they
Hmm.
know that person already, so that's a good thing.
Absolutely,
So back to what you're
absolutely.
saying, like you're totally right about that.
It's
Mhm.
yeah, it's a very network. Fashion is a very network based community, or
A lot
lifestyle
of
kind of way. So if you don't really like to talk, make sure your fashion talks. And
mhm.
if you're not one of those type of people, um, make sure your work speaks for itself, so you don't have to say too much, and
Mhm.
you be picked up right away. I remember I was working with Los Official. She's the director of the Swedish. What is this? The Swedish? I can't remember. She's like this top stylist of Los Official out in Europe, and she doesn't say a word. She speaks clear English. She speaks
Everything.
her language and everything fine, and she just doesn't speak. But when I was on set with her, everything was just, it was kind of magical, because the way she put things together was just kind of, of course, if you work with a lot of luxury brands, of course you're going to come out with something like cool, you know what I mean? Because they have like cool stuff. But the way she did it, it came out more than just putting things together. It was more of like, she actually thought about this
Right.
outfit. Yeah. And it totally just, um, it just
Bougie.
cleared the room out, because that's exactly what we wanted. That's exactly what we we wanted to see. And that made the whole um, the mood of the shoot so much like peaceful, and you will actually feel you'll feel the creation in the room. Let me say that. So if you're not a good networker, or if you don't network very good, make sure your work speaks, and
Mhm.
it speaks loudly, because people, I've been at shoots where it's just like, okay,
That's
so
it.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
like another question. Well, there's another question. It says, is it hard to find inspiration for an outfit as a stylist without copying someone else's work?
Um, yeah, it's not hard. It's not hard. I would say it's not hard. Let me think about this question, because it's not hard. Because like I said, like if you travel, and like you're a people person, you're a people watcher, or or anything like that, you will find inspiration. You won't find it, it will come to you. It will self-consciously come to you. You don't have to think about it or anything. It would just kind of just, for me, it just came to, it just comes to me. And if I see something, I put it, in my back of my mind, and like keep it there for later. It may not be super trendy now, but
But you
wait
never
until 6 months later, and then you pull out that idea, and it's like, whoa, like I never seen somebody with Siberian leather shoes will go perfectly with that outfit. But you took that from your old inspiration, and kind of like, you know, and put it together with that outfit. I'm not saying like I'm not saying like albino shoes or I mean those type of leather shoes, you know. But I'm saying you will recap things from your past and just be like, that goes with that, you know. And
Mhm.
sometimes copying copying someone else's work, I would say um that's very hard to copy someone else's work unless you guys have the same exact like outfits and aesthetic and everything. But majority of the time, if you're trying to copy off someone's work, it usually never works unless you got that perfected. You know, like you got that, like you know how to copy and paste easy. But for some people, it doesn't come that easy because you may think it may look. The thing is, working with models is like working with models and celebrities and all just people that's in the industry. They all can't really copy each other because the body type, unless you guys have the same body type or you have the same body type as the last stylist that had the same model or the same outfit. It's they have to have the body type, and if something doesn't sit right on their body, it's going to look totally different from the other person you kind of copied from, or it's going to look even worse than what you kind of gimmicked off of.
Yeah.
So finding inspiration, it will just literally, it's not finding it, it's just literally will come. And if you want to, and I feel like finding it, I feel like you don't never find inspiration. I feel like it's just the everyday thing, you know. It's like you look through, I watch a lot of TV shows and I get inspiration from there, and I take things, you know, I put things in my, you know, my head folder and just put them away. Um and I look through like magazines, or sometimes I read a lot of fictional books, and sometimes it may not seem like, oh, there's nothing fashion in there, but you kind of have to think of the adventure, you know, like some of these, like the Goonies. I don't know if you guys want the Goonies. That's one of my favorite movies. It's like they all had their own personal style, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like it will kind of just come to you, and especially if it's something that you like, you're going to like take a picture of it in your head and keep it, you know, and use it. So I don't feel like fashion is nothing really copied unless it's like totally just copied, you know, like stripe, everything's been done. All the silhouettes has been done before, all the, you know, a lot of the, you know, garment, you know, it's just, now it's just the matter of styling and putting it together and making it look different than what it is on a mannequin or on somebody else. So a lot of inspiration just comes to you, and I don't know if I explained that right, but for me a lot of inspiration comes to me. And and if you don't get a lot of inspiration, sometimes it takes time for it just to like come in your head. Like it takes months, sometimes years. Sometimes I started a YouTube channel and like last year, and like I stopped for like so many months is because I just wasn't inspired doing anything just yet. You know, like something was on, I was on a hiatus of it because something wasn't clicking. It wasn't inspiring me right now. So I had to like stop, and sometimes you do have to stop and pull back and be like, what am I thinking? You know, because all we do is push forward. You know what I mean? That's all we do is just push forward. And sometimes we have to stop and let things come to us instead of us trying to find it.
Definitely. You're totally right. It's all about like have that determination, be
Absolutely.
inspired by what you see, what you hear, you know, what you're taking in for your mind. Like sometimes you can't really like look for it because, you know, it just doesn't happen
It
that way.
might not be there.
Yeah, so it
it
just
doesn't.
comes by as it goes. And then the point is, as long you like keep it in mind, like, oh, I like that. That's gonna be really
Absolutely.
permanent in my
Exactly.
mind. That would that it will stay. And you're definitely
Absolutely.
right. Like things are like repeated, and like it's all about how things are styled, how things
Absolutely.
are, how they just like, you know, how they try to make it be and together, you know, it's all
And I feel like once we get out of this little pandemic thing, I feel like they're going to be wanting stylists and designers up the wall. They want new things. They're going to, you know, the next generation just going to want to go crazy and start, you know, like I watch a lot of like, you know, future movies and like just stuff like that. It's like, I feel like the younger generation just going to want it this time. You know, they're just going to be like so unapologetic. They're just, you know, they're just going to like, I don't care if I'm wearing this and that and this, you know, but if it looks good, they're going to wear it no matter what it is. So
Like if I
And that's
like it, I
inspiration
like
for
it.
myself too.
That's good. Which is totally good because I feel like just having that mindset itself, be like, okay, I like it, it doesn't matter to anyone, I'll wear it because
Absolutely.
you never know, like in a couple of months, people gonna start
Yeah,
wearing
we'll
that.
start
And
wearing it. Exactly.
then,
Exactly. So it's really just on how people, it's really, we stay in the world, billions of people, and someone's gonna like something that you have on. You know what I
mhm,
mean? It may not be the super rich high society may not like it, but
mhm,
the general public might love your outfit because it
mhm,
speaks to them. It speaks volume, and it speaks urban, and it speaks the generation of what they live today, or how they want to dress on,
mhm,
and how people look cool, and how they look cool in certain outfits, and they think they can, a lot of them can recreate it, or they feel like they can recreate it, and then that's how style come on. They just feel like they can recreate it, and it's like, okay, let me try it with this way, and let me try it that way. She did it with the turtleneck, let me do it with the turtleneck and then put a shirt over it, or like
mhm.
there's different ways. So it's
Definitely.
um it's a real journey for, if you want to work in fashion, and it's worth it. It's a promising job for real. If you're at it, if you're determined for it, if you want it, you will get it. Absolutely, hands down, if you want it, you will get it. So
Definitely.
don't let anything distract you guys from just from getting out of it, because everybody has attitudes in this industry, everyone. So you're
Mhm,
going to come across somebody you may not like, or you may not get along with, but at the end of the day, this is where your passion lays, and this is where you want to be. So you're just going to be like, you know what, hey, I don't really care, you blow it off and just keep moving forward. So,
mhm. Just
and
overcome it
it's
no matter
great.
what. Mhm,
Absolutely. I feel like that's for everything, even jobs that work 9 to 5, you might have your time where you don't want to do it. But, if you just push it, your body would just start getting up, and how when you really sleep and then you got to get up really early.
yeah.
And then after so long, your body just, it's not sleepy anymore. It's not,
Yeah.
it's up, and you're
Mhm,
just, back at it. So yeah, it's just make sure to just stay determined, inspired, and being inspired, and just, you don't have to look at fashion to to get fashion. You can, I've have so many outlets of fashion. I go camping a lot, so, and I can
mhm,
get fashion off of that, you know what I mean? So it's like,
mhm.
and people say, oh, that, like, camp, like I go camping a lot. Like, just imagine if I had a Eddie Bauer shoot, in a few months. You may never know if you're working with um someone that's working for North Face, or any of these, like, mountain companies, or these travel, or
Sure.
hiking companies, camping company. They
Mhm.
see that, they watch you, and they be like, okay, they're familiar with things like that. So you will most definitely get familiar with just different styles, and how
And
to,
things like that. Mhm.
yeah, and how
Like how
to
about
take
it?
it in.
Mhm. So now that's on 504, we're taking past already your time and everything.
Yeah, I'm
And
so sorry. I can talk a lot.
no,
I'm sorry.
oh no, we love that. Trust me. Like I like that. Like we all love this. Like we're like I appreciate it that you're giving this insight to us about, like giving us that
Absolutely,
little
absolutely.
perspective, that big perspective that no matter what in the fashion industry, that there's not just one place to go. There's so many
Mm-mm.
opportunities to
So
go
many.
through and like you could just jump around to find the right fit for you. Like you don't have to be stuck with
Absolutely.
them at all. And like just hearing you like from your experience, from your perspective, it just gives like even me and I bet for everyone right now just listening gives a bit more of
Yeah.
a clarity of what we want to do because we are all in school right now and majority of us probably
Hmm.
are like we're in our last year of school, someone aren't, but
Oh
just
yeah.
hearing that from you, like it really, really helps us to be like, okay, you know what, like this gives me an extra motivation of like a boost of that to like, okay, I got this.
Absolutely. Oh
So
yes,
mhm.
absolutely.
And like we
It's
really
great.
appreciate it.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
it's no, 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 no. Absolutely. I appreciate you inviting me out to you guys' club and everything, and to let me talk, and then give you guys my experience on just everything. And it was kind of a surprise that you told me. I was like, interesting, but
Because I trust me, I may have not like look, I'm putting it out there. Like I know like we haven't talked for a while, but like trust me, like when I say like I always remember other people and like I always know like
yeah.
they doing a big impact for others. And I feel like
Mm,
and you're like we're able to relate to you because based on your experience or just hearing you makes us feel relatable and like just
Hmm.
appreciating the person you are. You give us this like great energy that gives us like like
Hmm.
you're important to just hear you out like for us to
Yeah,
even learn from you because it's just pure knowledge and that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
we're here for it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you guys are in school still, and like I would totally take school, take advantage of it, and brag about your degree to these stylists. Brag about these degree to these fashion designers. Like brag, like don't brag. Just be like, I
Right.
have the credentials. You know what I mean? Like I have the credentials. So you know what I mean? Like take that
Mhm.
advantage because a lot of these companies and I didn't go to school. I didn't go to school for like fashion or anything. So when
Yeah.
I jumped into it, it was just like I'm just hopping in. So
Uh-huh.
a lot of them will want people with degrees. They love that, and you get a lot of like very good jobs, especially with degrees. And I've got I got opportunities, but some of them you need a degree. So you guys
Mhm.
have that, and like some of you guys are at your last year, and like that's perfect. So and like right now, we kind of are in a little standstill. But once we're out of this, I feel like once we're out of this, you guys should just totally just go out there and just fish out
Just
anything,
mhm.
because they're going to be looking for anything and everybody. So, and it's a huge like it's going to be I feel like it might be a huge like opportunity once everything clears out because
Oh yeah,
you got
I
new
bet.
names out and new
Mhm.
stylists and new people and fresh minds and fresh ideas. So
Mhm.
make sure you guys like utilize that in every way.
Yeah, hopefully maybe like this summer like by this coming like things are like a lot of people are now bringing opening doors now for us like trying to
Hmm.
like intern and all that because I know like well in my aspect I've kind of been having a hard time but I was able to like
No,
get
we
some
all were.
opportunity. So I feel like everyone are so I'm like okay it's not just me, it's for everyone else in general. Like even
Yeah,
like um
absolutely.
I was assisting for a stylist and he was telling me, he was saying like because of COVID, like certain things are being like closed off, things are not happening, like even
Yeah.
help are not getting a lot of like positions to do like or job openings if you want to say in that
Yeah, yeah,
aspect
yeah.
or like interns like unfortunately like they had to cut me off because they're like because of
Hmm.
COVID they had to like cut down people of helping
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
And I was like, oh, that's such a bummer because it was such a good
yeah.
time I was doing. And I was like, oh, like COVID, why?
No, yeah, I man, it knocked out a lot of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to come back from, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm still working in it,
Which
and
is
if you
good.
guys are interested, do internships because I do my own styling. So I do like I do interns. So if you guys need somebody just to like learn from or just assist me or just anything, you guys are more than welcome. Um, because I'm usually on set and I usually do more fashion editorial and more sometimes I do like commercials sometimes, but and I do I can't even think of the I do like online. I can't think of it.
Like e-commerce? Like
E-commerce. There it goes. I
mhm.
do a lot of e-commerce work. So I work with like I said, I worked with a small brand and we're doing a bunch of e-commerce work for their websites, and that's really easy too. And like that, and like I said, that's all those also too. They have e-commerce stylists, so that's completely different too.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, if you guys are willing to like come out or just want to learn something or just come out and just see how things are just working or just work or how things work out with fashion, just let me know, and my doors are always open for you guys, and you guys are like young college students, so that's even better because you guys are like super more determined and want to see things and want to do things compared to somebody that's like I already
Mhm.
did that before and I kind of want to look for another thing. But
Yeah,
if you guys are
definitely.
like fresh face, haven't been on set before, just let me know and email me or hit me up on Instagram or social media and just be like, hey, I need some work done or I need to spruce up my something, and just let me know. And I'm always down to work
Do you want to
and help
add your
people out.
Instagram? Do you want to add your
Yeah,
Instagram
yeah.
handle so like everyone who's are interested could get it from you? And like thank you like for offering that. That's really great for anyone here who really are interested.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. But yeah, thank you for letting me speak. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
said I could talk a
no,
lot,
no.
so
I would say
so
that
it's
you
great.
had something going on because we try to like, of course, like be very like
Mhm.
because everyone is busy doing something and we don't want to like intervene. So of course we just keep that hour, but for us no
Absolutely.
problem. And like some of our members they have like classes and stuff. So we try to keep a certain time, but
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, like we love that you just gave us this knowledge, that perspective that we needed, and I really, really
Mhm.
appreciate it. And then thank you for accepting to guest speak for us today.
Absolutely. All
So yeah.
right.
So if anyone
No
has
problem.
any questions or anything else, maybe now that he put his Instagram handle, you could shoot him a DM or anything, email him for any questions. And so yeah, so I guess this is the end of our session. And then Javon, I'll contact you a bit after the meeting.
Okay.
And yeah, so thank you everyone. I really
Thank
appreciate
you
it for
guys.
coming. So see you all till next time.
Thank
Bye.
you. See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.